you've been in this game for quite some time then. How has branding changed?
I mean, branding, I would say the biggest shift is it's become so much about the personal brand now, more than actual brands. I mean, you know, brands are important. Like, you have to brand yourself because that's the only way to stand out in such a noisy world. But the rise of the personal brand has become so big now because you look at the big personal brands, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, like the founders of these companies, people almost know their names more than the actual companies. Yeah. So I think there's this big surgence of people, because people connect with people, right? Yes. So I think that's the big branding move now is to have the personal brand, especially as the founder of,
you said something
any
interesting.
Sort of company.
That was, you said that in a noisy world, you have to make yourself known. It's kind of crazy, right? Like in a noisy world, you have to be even louder. Yeah. Yeah. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah. Maybe it's not necessarily louder, but it's different. You know, being uniquely you, I think is the big piece. We just had a masterclass we were teaching today, and I was teaching how like branding, your brain is a pattern recognizing machine. So branding helps your brain to make quicker decisions one way or another about a product, a person, or whatever. So branding helps. It's like an aid into helping your brain make decisions. You know, you're walking through a grocery store, and like, I like to eat healthy. So my partner and I were in New Zealand. We're like going through this basic grocery store, and we're trying to find the like one healthy thing in the whole grocery store.
Oh my God, New Zealand is that bad?
It's pretty bad.
Really?
You know what's interesting is, side note, is like all of or anything that they have that's organic, most of it gets exported. So like all the food there, a majority of the food there, it's really hard to find anything like any good, like clean product.
What about the Wagyu? The fake Wagyu that they make?
I mean, most of it, yeah, exactly. I think it's all exported.
No.
Yeah. And I don't know how organic it is either.
Wow. I would have thought that it was just, they have a pretty good supply of organic food, and just, they're pretty health conscious.
Yeah.
Those things would be readily accessible. You seem like such outdoor, like healthy eating, conscious lifestyle kind of folk.
Yeah, you would think. But
I've never been there, by the way.
It's not as much like that as you would think.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very odd. Anyways, back to the brand. We were like, okay, because we super healthy, and we're like, that's all we obsess over, like healthy snacks and healthy stuff. And we go into this grocery store, and it's like this sea of like just so much color and so much like basic stuff. And we're like, where's the healthy thing? So we were looking for the packaging that actually looked healthy, right? Yes, healthy snacks have kind of a certain aesthetic. Like health brands have a certain kind of more clean aesthetic, more organic aesthetic. And so we found like this one thing that looked like it. So like our eyes just went, psh, and that was like what our brain was looking for, was that aesthetic, because we associate that aesthetic with health.
Green, I'm sure. Was it green?
No, it was actually like a, kind of a white. It's very simple design. Most of the, you look at like Doritos and all these big brands are just like so flames, all over the flames and all this stuff. Well, this is like, a matted package with like very basic, kind of clean design. So it just helps your brain make a quicker decision. So and that quicker decision could be good or bad, right? If somebody's trying to decide on you or somebody else, your branding plays a big part of that.
Yeah, I see a lot of companies seem to be disguising their branding as personal brands, in a sense of using personal brands to promote who they are, but also taking a step back, because I think there was this counterculture movement for so long that was like, it is about the person, it's the rise of the individual. And it was, it was pretty cool to listen to a podcast that was on someone's phone, and like it costs, $50 to produce, right? Right. And that was the counterculture for some time. And then, say for example, bigger brands, they jumped into the game, but kind of sneakily, right? Like, supporting, like, still being behind these smaller podcasts or smaller media outlets, but they were disguised more so just as calm, individualistic.
Yeah, it's harder for like bigger brands to come into the personal brand game. I mean, unless they have a big founder like Elon Musk or something like that. So yeah, it can kind of feel like that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
What can people do? Because there is a big interest in personal branding, right? And like a lot of people have realized that the internet is not going anywhere, right? You have to be someone in real life and you have to be someone digitally. And often people don't consider you a person in real life if you don't have a digital brand.
Yeah.
So like, how does someone that new to branding, how do they even get started?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like what I would call like a trifecta, the authority trifecta, where you have the aesthetics of the brand. So when somebody lands on your website, that's your real estate or your Instagram, or, it has like a high level aesthetic, high level photography, high level design. And then you have service, like your quality or product, like high quality product or service, because that's also your reputation. And then content creation. So creating content, especially in these, I would say like a lot of personal brand stuff, coaches, speakers, authors, a lot of it's thought leadership. Mm-hmm. So putting content out there that's thought leadership, that's giving value to people. The combination of those three things, I think, make up a really solid personal brand. Mm-hmm. You can go deeper into like each one, but I would say that's kind of that would be the trifecta.
I mean, thought leadership is the one that I think really stands out, especially for this audience that listens to this podcast, right? Like it's finding a way to differentiate yourself and your thoughts, and finding a practice to keep that consistent, right? Like Jerry Seinfeld, he writes, a joke every day, right? Do you have any cheat codes to help you like keep your creativity level up, to keep your thought leadership sharp?
I mean, I think there's two pieces, right? I think creating thought leadership, I think journaling and writing, creating like what's your actual philosophy, like what's the peak pillar that you want to really communicate to people. How do you want to change people's lives? Like, what do you want to be known for? Take Lewis Howes, for instance. His brand is all about greatness and rising to your greatness. Like when you think of Lewis, you think of greatness. Do you know Jim Quick?
Yes.
So when you think of Jim Quick, you think of learning, you think of brain, so like, that's kind of what I'm talking about is like, if you don't know what it is, start writing, like see what themes come through and distill what that is for you. It might take some time, but write something every day. What's your perspective on all these different things? What are your interests? What do you like follow the curiosity, I would say. And then the other piece would be to create content about it, talk about it, and I think the more you talk about certain topics, a theme will start to arise. A theme will come through of what resonates with you.